What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 139. My name is Bret, aka Enigma911, and you can catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma911 every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Join the chat, join on the conversation if you're a subscriber over there. We'd love to have you in on all the fun, but if you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. Drops over on YouTube and podcast services the very next week, where it's broken topic by topic and put as one big video and MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, hashtag ad merch store. Get all of your swag over there. T-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand. Support us, and we'd love you for it. So, we're back with another solo episode. Woohoo! And boy, oh boy, I'm excited about this one. We got two wide, varied topics today. And, yeah, let's just get on into it. Let's talk about AEW Forbidden Door. Pay-per-view, as of recording, aired last night. So, we're recording a day late. Oh, well. Forbidden Door happened last night. This was AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling's kind of crossover pay-per-view working together. And overall, I thought it was a good time. Very exciting to see a lot of the New Japan pro wrestling talents. I don't watch New Japan all that often, so I don't know these guys well. I know them in name, but I haven't watched a lot of them. So I was excited to dive into like what they could do, their characters, and yeah, I was just excited to have a good time of wrestling, and for the most part, it was. So like normal, we're going to go through the card. What I think of the matches, what happened, what surprises did we see? Let's go through it. So kicking off the night, we had a 3-on-3 tag match. We had Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki against Shota Umino, Wheeler Yuta, and Eddie Kingston. The winning team will get a man advantage at Blood and Guts this Wednesday. So, high stakes. Crowd's hot with reactions right off the bat. They were crazy, and actually the entire night. Chicago really knows how to represent wrestling fans well with their reactions. So, a lot of fun there. Wheeler Yuta got a great reaction with chants for him. This match was physical. Shocker, surprise. Kingston and Suzuki were laying their shit into each other, chopping the crap out of each other. Suzuki was also even no-selling the machine gun chops from Kingston, but we had some fun with that. We also had some fun dives going on with this match. We had Sammy hitting a shooting star to Shota on the outside, and then a front flip to Sammy by Yuta, and then a dive by Kingston, and then we get Suzuki with the fake out run up. Not having it at all. Let's see. Sweet Avalanche Power Slam from Shota Umino to Jericho. I guess they're kind of rekindling a story they had in New Japan years ago where Jericho beat him up when he was a young lion. So, long-term storytelling. That's fun. We had an exchange between Ty Conti and Wheeler Yuta on the outside. Sammy's going to take advantage of that, hit a GTH on him. I think that got Yuta out of the match. Let's see. Eddie would hit Jericho going for a lion salt. As he was going for it with the springboard, Eddie was going to hit him. Goes for the pin by Shota, but only a 2 count. And then Shota's going to eat a bat to the back by Sammy Guevara. Jericho will try for the Judas effect. Umino will duck, hits a tornado DDT and a brain buster. Still a cook out of 2. I don't know how they drop each other on the head so much, and they're like, oh no, I'm not dead. Shota's going to get a little payback with Walls of Jericho. Sammy tries to kick him in the face. Has no effect on Shota. Essentially just kind of causes him to Hulk out. But Suzuki will drop him eventually. Suzuki will pile drive Eddie. Shota's going to fight back between the two of Jericho and Suzuki, but unfortunately he's going to get hit with the Judas effect by Jericho, and Jericho, Guevara, and Suzuki will get the win and get the advantage for Wednesday. Solid match overall. Like I said, they are laying their shit in. Yeah, just a good opener. Solid. Nothing too exciting, but a good match overall. And I'll say that's probably a lot of these matches where it was good overall. Some of the later ones I'll get into is maybe where it took a little bit of a dip where it shouldn't have. But let's continue on the night as we get the winner-take-all Ring of Honor and IWGP Tag Team Championship match. Three-way match here between FTR, the Ring of Honor champions, Roppongi Vice, and Jeff Cobb and Great Khan, the IWGP champions. So, going into this match, I'll be honest, I was like, okay, FTR is going to win. We're going to keep pulling this stuff of like the greatest tag team ever, which don't get me wrong, FTR is phenomenal. But it kind of seemed very, what's the term, predictable from the start. And it was, because in the end, FTR is going to win, spoiler alert. So, match starts out fine, tag team, moves galore, they're swapping tags, who's in, who's out. FTR is going to hit a little bit of a tag team sequence. Cash is going to trip the guy up, Dax is going to run up and drop an elbow on him. Immediately after he drops the elbow, I don't remember on who, I think it was on Rocky Romero. Immediately after dropping the elbow, Dax clutches his arm and kind of writhes in pain face down in the mat. Cash is yelling at him to get the pin. He will eventually climb over, get the pin. Rocky will kick out. Dax is in a lot of pain still. Cash reluctantly has to tag back in to take over. Dax is going to go talk to the doctors and heads to the back. Yikes. This is pretty early on in the match. I want to say, 5 minutes tops in. So that's not great, especially considering prediction. I was like, oh, FTR is going to win this thing. I was wondering at this point, are they going to change stuff up? Match continues. Cash holds his ground by going solo. I'll give props to everybody there. They made the adjustments that they needed to keep the match going. But good news, Dax will return later on with a very heavily taped up shoulder. So good to see that. Good to see he's fine. So it's going to lead to a double team with Dax and Trent working together to take out Jeff Cobb. Cash Wheeler's going to tag in, do a splash onto Cobb. Unfortunately, only gets a 2 count there. And then we get Cash and Rocky Romero working together to take out Great Khan. That one doesn't work, I don't think. Cobb and O'Khan eventually are going to kind of regroup, and they're going to clear out the ring, including a standing moonsault by Jeff Cobb. Very impressive. Big man, flying around, no problems. We'll get a strong 0 by Roppongi Vice on Jeff Cobb. Cash is going to dive in for the save at the very last moment, so Roppongi Vice almost taking both sets of titles there. And then we get Dax and Rocky going at it. This is where it gets a little shaky. Rocky hit a move on to Dax. I don't recall what the move was. I don't know. Some kind of pinning combination. The ref starts his count, but he pauses because Rocky Romero's shoulders, I think it was Rocky's shoulders, maybe it was Dax's shoulders. Shoulders weren't secure, so there was a shoulder up. So ref notices this, stops counting. They get the shoulder back down. He resumes his count and gets a 2 count. There's a kick out. The crowd thinks Rocky got a 3 count, that he pinned Dax successfully because of the kind of timing of this. 1, 1, 2. So it kind of looks like a 3. All in all, the referee did the right job. He didn't count originally because the shoulder was up. Did look a little shaky to the crowd. I will make a note from an AEW production standpoint. This might be something they want to work on. They've had this happen a couple times where pins are a little iffy, shaky. And I noticed this later on in the night. But Aubrey Edwards, shout out, does this thing where she shouts her counts. Now, I know that seems stupid. I can count to 3. You can count to 3. But she counts, she yells what number she's counting. 1, 2, 3. If the the positioning changes. 1, 2. Oh, it switched. 1, 2. She's clearly letting everyone know this is a resetted count. What's the count at? I think maybe the other referees need to kind of take a page out of her book. Maybe pick up on this as well. Kind of try and make it clear to everybody in the audience, especially from a ground level perspective. Maybe they don't have the angle that an audience from home sees, where like, oh, yep, there's the shoulder up. I can see that. Maybe it would just help from a presentation standpoint, but I digress. Shaky count there. Eventually, FTR is going to hit the big rig on Rocky Romero. FTR is going to win, retaining their Ring of Honor championships, but also becoming the new IWGP Tag Team Champions. So, congrats to them. Hopefully Dax is okay. Hopefully it's not too big of an injury so they can continue, obviously, the momentum that they have now with both belts. Quick interview with the back, Tony Schiavone interviewing another new member of Bullet Club. We talked about Ace Austin's with Slammiversary, but now we have Juice Robinson and Switchblade seemingly just talking shit. How they're the IWGP US and World Champion, respectively. And then we probably get, I'd say, my favorite match of the night, surprisingly. I think this was the best one. We get the All-Atlantic Championship. Fatal 4-Way, we got Clark Connors replacing Ishii, Pac, Miro, and Malachi Black. This match was a lot of fun. We got a lot of differing styles here with the high flying of Pac, the brutalization of Miro, Clark Connors being there trying to show off his strength and speed, and Malachi obviously with the spookiness. So Pac's going to go right after Black. Obviously they have history there. Clark Connors is going to give it a minute, but he'll eventually go after Miro, and Miro is no selling his shit. All of his chops, his elbows, his strikes, his forearms, no effect on Miro. Miro obviously coming back recently. We got to build him up. And Connors would kind of be the underdog of this match, I think, because honestly nobody thought he was going to win. But I will say by the end of this match, I think Clark Connors got elevated. Crowd was cheering for him. People liked him. Good stuff there. And that's, credit to him and obviously his opponents as well. We would get at one point a submission from Malachi Black onto Connors with the knee bar. Struggling hard to get to the ropes. Miro would save the match by pulling Connors' hair and pulling him out of the ring. Ouchie there. And then we get an outside of the ring segment. As Miro's just going to lay down pretty much everybody, beat them all down. Pac's going to get a chance to reverse, smashes Miro into the stairs. Malachi's going to come up with a big boot, and then Clark Connors is going to smash him, or spear him rather, through a table that Miro had set up earlier in the crowd. Also, another note on production side, I guess you could say, with AEW. Be careful your audience. There was a kid front row, and boy did they have to move that kid out of there as we almost poked him with the table, but he was okay. He did get knocked down later in a separate incident, but all good there. Hopefully that kid is fine. So, we get a big tower sequence as Miro's going to pull down the 3 with the double suplexes, etc. And then we think Miro's going to win. Throws out Black of the ring, and Connor's going to hits Connor with the big boot, and then the game over submission. So he's pulling, he's wrenching on, was it Pac? No, it must have been Connors. He's wrenching on him. Malachi's going to come in, hit him with the mist. So he's going to spray the mist into Miro's eyes, hits him with a spin hook kick. Connor comes in, gets reversed with an arm breaker, unfortunately, by Malachi. The two are struggling with this submission. Pac's going to hit a 450 off the top rope onto Black, gets a brutalizer on Connors, and becomes your first ever All-Atlantic champion. So Pac wins this one. Not going to lie, kind of surprised here. Not that Pac doesn't deserve it. Obviously, Pac's phenomenal. But I thought this was a shoo-in for Miro. Just came back. It's got this momentum swing. Maybe we need a little bit more build on the God Power story. Maybe that's why he didn't win here. But I thought that was the route they were going to take. Good to see Pac win it here. Making history. Good stuff. Speaking of fun matches and good stuff, we get Bullet Club, the Young Bucks, and El Phantasmo going against Dangerous Dudes. Ah, God. Sting, Darby, and Shingo Takagi. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Apologize if I'm not. Shingo, don't know much about you, but man, you got a cool-ass dragon mask as you came out to the ring. And essentially this match was just a lot of fun. I'm not going to focus or dwell on this one too much because I'm not Nothing really happened here. Get a fun moment at the beginning. Sting's music goes. He doesn't come out. Bucks and Phantasma will come out. Lights are going to go out during their entrance. We'll get a light up to the rafters. Nobody's there. Lights onto the stage. Sting's on top of the entrance ramp. Dives onto the Bucks and Phantasmo. A lot of dives. Fun stuff here. Phantasmo hitting his back rake. And then Matt Jackson doing his. Just all dramatic with the cartwheels and the back handsprings. Stuff like that. Phantasmo would cheat. Hit a low blow on Sting. Sting would eventually get the comeuppance on him. Get his revenge. Do the same thing as well with a low blow. Sting would avoid the BTE trigger, get a double Scorpion Death Drop onto the Bucks, and then Shingo would actually get the win here, hitting a big clothesline and the last of the Dragon, and the winners will be Sting, Darby, and Shingo. Fun match. Nothing really to it. So yeah, you got that. We get an announcement for AEW coming back to New York September 21st with Grand Slam. Whoopee. Another interview by Shivani for Umino. Interrupted by the Jericho Appreciation Society. Jericho says he's impressed. Respect from 2.0. Camera's going to pan back over to Jericho. Fireball right in Umino's face. So, yikes. Are they continuing this? Was this just a way to go ha ha ha? I don't know. But yeah, big ass fireball to Umino's face. AEW Women's Championship match. Another solid match. Not a whole lot to say, to be honest. A little weird that this was the only women's match on this card. And no cross promotion with New Japan. I will say that. Thunder and Toni. Thunder defending her AEW Women's Championship against Toni Storm. Ladies is great. Handshake at the start. Back and forth the entire time. Thunder would focus on Toni's shoulder a little bit later on in the match. This injury, or at least the pressure on it, would prevent Toni from hitting Storm Zero on Thunder. Thunder is going to hit her with a Thunder Driver. Toni will kick out. Thunder will then eventually do a final reckoning. Shout out to Dustin Rhodes. Gets the win. Retains. Handshake afterwards. Fine. Nothing standing out. And then we get the IWGP United States Championship defended. Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy. This was another one that was probably up at the top. If this doesn't take the top spot, then it's definitely second. JR on commentary. Aussie Open is going to join Will to the ring. And this was just a fun one. Similar to years ago where we had Cassidy versus Pac. The style of, obviously, Orange Cassidy has, the very lax style, versus this, like, hyper athlete with Will Ospreay. The athleticism, the aerial stuff. A lot of fun to see the dichotomy between the two, the mind games between Orange, and then when Orange kicks it in and actually wrestles fully, I guess you could say. Very fun. Very fun match between the two. A couple of moments where they mocked each other. If you guys know from matches past, Will Ospreay and Ricochet have been, like I said, they've been known to do the aerial stuff. So they do the flippy and dippies. They land in the like superhero landing position and do the little stare down where everybody goes, and pops off because the sequence is done. Will would do the handspring backflip over Orange at one point. Does the superhero landing. Orange no-selling it, standing up. Eventually joins him in the superhero position and kind of gives him the shitty thumbs up. So we had some fun with that. Also later, Ospreay was going to go into Orange's pockets, pulls out a middle finger for the crowd. So yeah, just a fun match overall. Good stuff from both of them. Eventually, let's see. So Ospreay is going to win this match. He's going to hit Cassidy with a hidden blade. Cassidy will kick out at 2, but then he's going to follow up with a Stormbreaker, give him a little thumbs up to the crowd at the end. So yeah, Ospreay will retain his U.S. championship. And Aussie Open is then going to beat up Orange Cassidy. They're going to set up for, I think it's the Coriolis is their finisher. Might have heard that wrong on commentary. My bad. Roppongi Vice is going to make the save for a minute before Aussie Open takes them out. And then we get a surprise. Crowd was popping huge for this one. Me not knowing the New Japan talent. Whoops. I was like, okay. We got Katsuyori Shibata making the save here. Beating up everybody. Orange will then put the glasses on Shibata. Gives the thumbs up. We get the moment there. Speaking of pops, we're going to head into the biggest surprise of the night. Maybe. Unless you're in the rumor mill and you're like, oh, it's got to be that person. We got Zack Sabre Jr. versus the mystery opponent that will be replacing Bryan Danielson. And guess what? It's Claudio Castagnoli. Jesus, I got to work on pronouncing that last name. It's Cesaro. As Peanut Gallery will know, as I went into the room and went, Cesaro. A big surprise, yes. Not a big surprise, also yes. Everybody was like, it's either Cesaro or it's Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano, thankfully, being honest on Twitter, happened to be in Chicago the same day. He's like, guys, this is pure circumstance and coincidence. I am not going to be there. Do not. He even tweeted out a photo of him on the airplane a couple hours before the show. But yeah, cool to see Claudio here. Wish him nothing but the best. I think it makes sense from a technical standpoint and how Brian's, promo of like, oh, he's underrated. He's not going to be underrated here. I get, Papa Griffin and I talked off stream. I get like, how does he fit in the Blackpool Combat Club? They seem more violent and aggressive. We haven't seen that from Cesaro, so that style doesn't really fit. Time will tell. But match started off very, very fast. Claudio's going to charge in, hits his uppercut, hits the neutralizer. We're like, oh, fuck, is this just going to be a match where it's it just jobs out for Sabre? No, he will kick out, and the two will go on to their normal match. We get to show off Cesaro's power here as he'll carry up Sabre up the steps in like an armbar submission and powerbombing into the ring. We'll see the big swing at one point. Unfortunately, I think Cesaro's arm gave out, only gave him 5. Eventually, Claudio, is going to hit the Ricola powerbomb, gets the win here, and he'll be in Blood and Guts on Wednesday. Hopefully his arm is not hurt too bad, but as we'll see later on in the evening, seems he's okay. I will make one more note of AEW production. Welcome to Brett's Soapbox. So, AEW, you do great with your surprises. You do great with your surprise appearances, lights out, lights on, hidden. We get a lot of new people coming in. You play the music for Claudio. We see the crowd. Everybody's going insane. That's great. I'm here going, what's going on? Because I don't know your fucking music because, well, duh, it's new. Fucking please show the entranceway, the Tron something. We finally got the reveal when Claudio did come out of the tunnel, but it was just like, I don't know what's going on. We're panicking for some reason. Could have been something happened. Somebody got jumped. I doubt it. But just, I don't know. From a presentation standpoint, from a person watching at home, I'd like to be in on that moment and not be lost for a few minutes. So, hey, rope me in here. So, back to the matches. We got this high with Claudio showing up. And then, unfortunately, I will say we started going downhill. We have 2 more matches here. We have the IWGP World Championship, Fatal 4-Way, Jay White, Adam Cole, Hangman Page, and, oh boy, I'm going to butcher this. Kazuchika. We got Okada. Damn it. I can hear it in my head, like how commentary says it, but I haven't verbalized it enough, clearly, that I can say it. So I apologize for that. Okada came out. Oofa. I need to work on that. My bad. Huge pop, huge ovation for Okada. Good for him. He deserves it. We will see Gato accompany Switchblade to the ring. Crowd was very into this match. We get the kind of the devious stuff from Switchblade and Cole. We get the sportsmanship between Page and Okada. And for the most part, Cole and Jay White working together until eventually Cole's going to hit him with the literal backstabber. Page is going to try and hit some buckshot lariats. Gato will stop him. Attempts a buckshot on Jay. Jay will duck it. Attempted a blade runner and gets hit with a dead eye. No pin afterwards. No pin. Tries a second attempt at the buckshot. Nails it, but then Okada breaks up the pin. Okada's going to hit a drop kick and a driver on Cole. But he's going to... This is where the match kind of hits the downfall. So this is the final sequence of the match. So Okada breaks up that pin. There might have been some in between, so sorry if there was. Okada and Cole are going at it. Okada's going to hit a drop kick on Cole. He's then going to hit his driver. And then he's going to set up for the Rainmaker clothesline. I don't know if it's exhaustion or what happened, but Cole ducks it. So Okada's going to miss the clothesline. He's going to turn around. Jay White comes in, hits the Blade Runner, or Crossroads, on Okada. And then instead of pinning Okada, Jay White goes over to Cole and pins him. Not a big deal. Until you hear the count. Goes for the pin. It seems like there's hesitation from Rick Knox. 1, 2, 3. Very strange. Weird finish. Jay says something to Rick Knox. I don't know if something was wrong. I don't know if Cole was hurt or whatever. This was an odd finish. Not an odd finish in the way that White pins Cole. That could lead for storyline down the road. Totally fine with that. I think the thing that makes it weird, there's two things. One, obviously the count situation that we just went over. The hesitation, then pulling the trigger on this is 3. That's odd. The second thing that makes it odd is there was no climax to this match. You had the finisher on Okada with the Blade Runner, right? He hits the Blade Runner. Boom. That would have been a big moment. Then the pin there. The fact that he hit the Blade Runner, almost to no reaction as well. Crowd didn't really do anything. Hits the Blade Runner there, but then proceeds to go to another person who just avoided a move. Granted, he did hit a super kick and a driver. Just nothing. It wasn't like that firework explosion, like ending point where you get the big 1, 2, 3, and it's all over. Very odd. Once again, I don't know if this was injury on Cole's part. Maybe. I don't know if this was meant to be something else. Like, it would have made more sense if, Okada hit his Rainmaker clothesline. Big impact there. Comes in, hits Okada to get him out of there, and then pins Cole, because then Cole has eaten Rainmaker finisher, That would have made sense. Odd. Very odd. So, kind of a sour taste in audience's mouth there as people were going like, what happened? The Bucks and Kyle O'Reilly come down the ramp. Jay's going to pass them going up to the entrance. We'll have the referees and doctors looking at Adam Cole. And then we're going to get our main event of the evening. We get the AEW Interim World Championship match. We get Jon Moxley against Hiroshi Tanahashi. This was another one that just was okay. And I don't know if just in my head I was trying to build it up more, oh, this is going to be amazing. But it was fine. It didn't seem to go super long. Nothing super exciting happened out of this. Mox did get busted open after some stomps and a sling blade, and boy, he was gushing blood. We did get the Aces High Crossbody and the splash from Tanahashi onto Mox. Kicks out into the Bulldog Choke. Big lariat on Mox. Kicks out at 1 by Tanahashi. We'll get an elbow sequence. kind of like jabbing down vertically onto his jaw, into a choke, into a lifting paradigm shift, and Moxley's going to win, becoming your new AEW interim world champion. Okay. Now, happy for Mox. Obviously, he was champion during the pandemic era. Carried the company there. Good stuff. I know a lot of people wanted this from Moxley. Put a championship on him while the crowd is there. He didn't get that opportunity. I'm fine with that as well. I'm not going to lie. I thought the booking was going to be a little, not simpler, but a little bit more obvious here. What was the initial match? It was going to be CM Punk, Tanahashi. So, how do we make this for later? Oh, let's put the interim belt on Tanahashi and then have the two, go on to it later, and then Punk can obviously retain there. Didn't go with the obvious booking, or at least for my dumb brain. So, okay, interesting there. I get it. This is Forbidden Door. This is not a permanent relationship, but it's not something where most of these relationships are going to continue on past this pay-per-view until the next Forbidden Door, which question mark on the Fireball earlier, but for most of these things, it's one and done, or it's see you later. So, anyways, Tanahashi loses here. Moxley becomes champion. Cool. Good for Mox. Then we get the story building. So, Mox offers a hand to Tanahashi. Before the two can shake hands, we get an attack. Attack by Daniel Garcia and Chris Jericho. Attack them. Then we get Eddie Kingston coming down, running down. Then we get Yuta Wheeler and Santana and Ortiz join the fray. Then we get the rest of the Jericho Appreciation Society coming down. And they're all blah, 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 blah. And then we get Claudio coming out and, comes in, just runs in, hits Jericho with an uppercut. And then he uppercuts everybody in the corner. And then he hits a big swing on Matt Menard for 20 swings. And we all go, woo! And then Claudio and Eddie Kingston just bitch at each other outside the ring because there's some history there. And then that was it. So I get it. We're building for Blood and Guts. Oh, excitement for Wednesday. Go tune in to Dynamite. Blah. Odd. Question. Never will be answered. Question. Claudio shows up at the end of this fight. Was this meant to be a big surprise moment? Was Claudio supposed to make his debut here if Bryan Danielson was not hurt and was able to participate earlier? No idea. Saying it out loud now, I'm going to say no, because the match would have been... Oh, no. I think it still could have been that way. I was going to be like, oh, well, then CM Punk would have been back. But those are two different people, Bret. Punk can still be injured and Bryan can be back. So never mind. That could have worked. Because the way they came out in, the waves, with Claudio being last and being this, delay where the bad guys are beating up the good guys, it would have been that pop, like Adam Cole coming out for his debut, followed by Bryan Danielson for his debut. It's that the one more thing kind of moment. So I'm curious to know if that would have been his moment instead of the match if Bryan was healthy. No way we'll ever know. I'm never going to be able to talk to Tony Khan, so whatever. Just, we can fantasize or fantasy book it. Interesting. So yeah, that was Forbidden Door. So how do I think it went overall? Matches were good. Maybe it's just me and my cynical ass. Nothing too memorable here. Orange Cassidy and Ospreay was great. The All-Atlantic Championship was great. I would say those are my two favorites. I was hoping a little bit more for the tag match. Obviously, I understand Dax got hurt. That's important. Let's take care of that. Let's fix it. Still was a solid match. Just that kind of jostled the momentum. So there's that. I was hoping more for the Tanahashi match. I hear great things about Tanahashi. I hear his name all the time. I hear Okada's name all the time. I hear Naito's name all the time. This, as my first experience with Tanahashi, didn't really deliver. We already talked about the Fatal 4-Way. Just a very odd sequence to finish it up. If it's injury related, yikes, I get it. I think there could have been a way to work around that. If you're trying to keep Okada safe, okay, figure out a way to get Hangman in there. I don't think this would have hurt Hangman if he took the loss here. I get this could be a story building for White and Cole, but just with the no finisher, that no final impact, and then the pin is odd. Hard to say, if it was an injury that prevented that or whatever it was. Claudio showing up, fantastic. I hope he does, great things in AEW. We've talked about for years, along with everybody in the wrestling community, like Swiss, Cesaro, Claudio, one of the 800 names we want to call him, can do great things. And he never got the big push from WWE. Obviously, he went on a lot of tag runs, which was great with, like, Tyson Kidd and Sheamus, and then did good things with, Seth and his Mania match, but never got that big solos push since, like, maybe his debut. So hopefully he can show us what he truly can do with, no chains or handcuffs on him. And hopefully we can have some fun with that. But yeah, it was fine overall. It was a good time. I don't know how to watch New Japan unless I want to stay up super late. But maybe I'll dive into them a little bit more, see what they're up to. I do follow on social media, so I'll see things here and there. But yeah, maybe I would have gotten more out of it if I was a little bit more connected with the New Japan talent and the IWGP guys. I still think it was fun. I still think it was an amazing opportunity for these companies to work together, besides just like the slight crossover or one or two people here and there. I'm looking forward to more. I would think there's more. Maybe this will be a yearly event or whatever it is, but it's a good relationship. Companies working together is always fun. We obviously saw that in the pandemic era as well, so keep it up. Should be a good time. But yeah, good time. Good job, everybody. Moving on to topic 2. Talk about variety. Let's talk about me. What? Me? Yeah, no. We're going to talk about me slightly. Over this past weekend, took a trip over to Connecticut. 3 hours. 3 hours back. And we went to see a concert. Wow. Bret, you haven't seen a concert forever. When is the last time you saw a concert? Oofa. Post California, so 2017. Who'd you go see? Was it a band that you love and, enjoy quite a bit? No. We went to go see a smaller, I guess you'd call them indie band, called Purity Ring. This is a big band that Lady in Wonderland, Peanut Gallery is into, and yeah, I gave it a shot. Apparently they've been supposed to be going on tour for like the past 3 years, and with the pandemic situation and everything, they just have been delaying. Had the opportunity to go here, and we got to see their show, and they're really good. I would kind of describe their music as like trance, instrumental. Not synth, but like it's a lot of samples and stuff. It's like a mix. And yeah, it was really good. The thing that I think makes Purity Ring stand out from other performances is their presentation. So Purity Ring, as I learned, 2 members. There's Megan, who's their singer, and then there's Corin, I believe his name is like their percussion and their sampler DJ dude. Probably wrong term, excuse me. And these 2 kill it. Now, the reason their show is so interesting compared to other concerts I've been to is, 1, their prop design or their set design, and 2, is their like presentation with graphics and stuff like that. So when we went there, small concert hall, we got seats up in the balcony because we're old. No, just because we were driving all day. We wanted to sit down. We got seats up there. We're right on the front of the balcony, so nobody's in front of us. Great. Opening band was a band called Ecstasy. Guys were fine. Kind of like a punk rock. Had a lot of good energy. Couldn't understand a fucking thing the singer was saying. The shame of opening bands, really, not knowing that those settings. But interesting stuff. I'm willing to check out some of their stuff after this. But yeah, so while they're going on, obviously they got their setup. They had a guitarist, they had the singer, and then they had their drummer. Have their setup, and I'm noticing that there's a screen, like a sheet, behind them. And I was like, oh, it's going to be like any other concert. It's going to be like, big reveal, the curtain's going to drop, and like, yeah, we're Purity Ring. Woo! Like, they don't do that, but, it's going to be that generic concert reveal. I'm like, okay, they're smart. They got the one setup up front. They got the other setup in the back, so they can just roll into the other thing once they're cleaned up. It's not this whole transitional time during your concert. Well, that's where I was wrong. This curtain was not for a reveal. It was it was a sheet, but it was like a very thin sheet. And behind that sheet was their set where Korn was. But then when it started, Megan was out front. So you had like this two sets kind of thing. Megan was up front singing, and then Korn, once again, I believe that's his name. Sorry if I'm getting this wrong, Peanut Gallery or Purity Ring fans, was in the back doing his samples and stuff. Now, before I get onto what is this curtain about, let's talk about behind the curtain. So, Lady had told me going into this of her past experiences with Purity Ring, how they're really cool, the show's great, and they do things with props and kind of use them as like instruments, but also it's like abstract. So what they did with this concert is they kind of had like, and I'll put some footage here, they kind of had like a jewel crystal formation, and what that would do is, as Korn was playing like the samples and stuff, he could use it as drums. So if he ever hit a jewel, it would do the beat, but it would glow. So he would like hit different ones, glow, glow, glow. So it added a little bit of a lighting effect to it. And throughout the night, it would do different ones. Maybe you hit it and it would light up right away, or you would hit it and be like a slow build into this pulse. So kind of cool from a presentation standpoint. Something new, something different. So now let's get into the curtain. What was the curtain for? The curtain was for projections. So I guess they're very into like light show effects and stuff like that, as you could tell, especially from our seats, as I got blinded by a couple of lights as they're strobing in my face. But what they would do is they would have these projection going on during their songs, and they would react to either Megan, the performer, or things that were happening in the back with the beat and stuff like that. So I talked about this crystal structure and how if he hit a crystal, it would glow. For one of the songs, as he was drumming along, they mapped it out really well where this like mist or steam would like fly out of the jewels as he was hitting them. Really, really cool, especially how it lined up and everything and timing. And then later on in the night, so I had noticed with Ecstasy that they were recording their live performance, had their laptops, their microphones set up. And I noticed on the front of the stage, there was like these three, which I thought were microphones or setups in front of each of them. When they got off, they didn't clear them off. So I was like, okay, what is that? Is it like a light or something? It turns out that these 3 posts, one center stage and one to the left and to the right, were cameras. And what would happen is Megan would position herself in front of one of the cameras, and during her performance, she would be projected in this like dust glitter star formation on the projection, and it would be with her. Like, it was a live thing with her. So it was either her just singing, or the effects would take place where she would like distort and disrupt into different forms. There was one where it like multiplied her across, so it looked like a wave or a motion as it was going across. And it was really, really cool to see, like, the creativity that this band has with their production value. Like, shout out to their special effects person, because they need a raise immediately. I know it's just simple projections onto there, but the way that they use them to their advantage in their performance, spot on. Really, really good. Yeah, concert was solid. I say they went maybe hour and a half. Played a lot of their songs, I guess, according to the lady. They have 4 albums. I guess they played a wide variety across those 4 albums, not just focusing on the new stuff. So that was cool. Decent sized crowd, a very good, healthy environment. She talked about, obviously, the shit that's happened this past week I was recording with the Supreme Court and all that fucking shit. Talked about that, supportive messages to those affected, and talked about like COVID and like asking for masks and stuff like that. So good to see these two have a good head on their shoulders. And yeah, it's just, these are the people you want to support. So overall, I thought the experience was great, especially for me going into this knowing nothing, hearing a few songs that lady has played from time to time. We did listen to the whole discography on the road trip up. And for me, I was like, I can't tell these songs apart. And I'm sure anyone could say the same thing about like Korn songs or other songs, that other bands that I'm into. Like, yeah, that sounds exactly the same. But it was a great time. Like I said, their presentation, how they performed was fantastic. Really enjoyed their energy. Looking forward to diving into their discography a little bit more, hearing those songs. But yeah, just shout out to Purity Ring. Fun concert. If you guys haven't checked them out, please check them out. Good stuff. Very, I would say, more mellow music. Like, nothing hardcore or thrashy or whatever, but very cool. Very relaxing. Good stuff. And yeah, it was fun. It was fun to see that and experience that. So yeah, just one very short discussion here about it, but it was fun going out and doing a trip like this, especially since, once again, pandemic has happened. Not doing that, or at least being more cautious to it. Something like this hasn't happened in a while, so it felt cool to take the road trip out, have that fun energy of the car ride, and then go see the event and, see a different state and a different area and their community, and then come back. And it was a good trip overall. It was only a day we were out there, if that. Like, we got out of work, half day, drove out, saw the concert that night, got up early, came back. Like, it was a good thing. As Mr. G said in chat, we did leave early. So I guess I'll just continue on, like, this whole trip. Talk about a perfect storm. So lady has been waiting to see Purity Ring, obviously, for years and years. Like I said, the delay. And if you don't know, lady is a big fan of the Colorado Avalanche, her home state hockey team. They're in the playoffs. They're in the finals. Best of 7, so they need to win 4. So they win their first 2 at home, they lose 1 away, and they win 1 more. This was the worst case scenario. Lady was like, oh my god, it'd be amazing if they won the cup at home, and if, they won in 4, because then there's no interference. There was a hockey game the same night as the concert. And in this hockey game, they could have won the championship. They haven't won the championship for like 10 years or something like that. Perfect storm. So it came down to like, oh my God, do we see the concert or do we see the game? So we figured out a way to record the game. Obviously went to the concert. And then the next day, yes, we left very early because we wanted to go see the hockey game. We went totally radio silent on phones so we wouldn't get spoiled by people or the internet. Came home, watched the game. Unfortunately, they did lose, but they would win the championship as of yesterday. So congrats to the Colorado Avalanche. But yeah, it was perfect storm of like, oh no, everything that we want is happening at the same time. So the whole experience was great. Trip was great. It was a fun time. I'm glad I got to share that experience with her and see that experience for myself with them and their concert. Good stuff by both of them. Like I said, the creativity from that group is fantastic. Hope they have nothing but success going forward. And yeah, good to get out of the house and do a trip like this after so long. But yeah, this has been another episode of the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 139. My name is Bret, aka Enigma 911, and you can join us live for the podcast every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern over on twitch.tv/Enigma911. We'd love to have you in on the conversation and in on the chat. In the chat and on the conversation. If you're a subscriber over there, love to have you in on all the fun. But if you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. Go over to YouTube and podcast services the very next week, where it's broken out topic by topic and put is one big video and MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, hashtag ad merch store. Get all of your swag over there. T-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand, support us, and we would love you for it. Appreciate you guys hanging out today, giving this a watch, giving us a listen, and as a closing statement, not to bring it down, but obviously some shitty situations have happened in the country. Just know this podcast, the stream, wherever, is a safe space, whether, for all races, all genders, all ideologies. Let's treat people right. Let's get, women's rights, absolutely. What the fuck are we doing? No steps backwards. Like, we need to fix this. Religion is not a part of this. If you follow a religion, that is totally fine. That is your choice. That is the big thing here. That's the big word, is choice. We need to let people choose what they do with themselves. If they want to have a kid, great. If they don't want to have a kid, that's fine too. Sometimes the situation is not ideal for this, whether it's a financial situation, how the situation has unfolded in an unhealthy way. Let people make their choice. Just please support the people around you. Respect goes a long way. Respect your neighbor. Yes, be excellent to each other, like Rainbow says. Exactly. That is the main thing. Don't mean to bring out a soapbox here, but it needs to be said. It's not okay what's happened as of recording this past week. It's not okay. We need to be better. And there's a lot that needs to be better in general. Let's work towards it. I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.